suburban districts have already done it. Now it's time for Chicago Public School students to head back to class. But along with the excitement for a new year, there may also be some anxiety for your kids. We're talking about how to help guide students through a healthy transition period with life coach Mel Robbins. She's also a best-selling author and host of the Mel Robbins Show, which will debut right here on WGN this month after the midday news. We're so happy about that. Congratulations on the new show.
Thank you so much, and I'm so excited to be weighing in on this very important topic you've got today.
One of the things that I know you really stress is the prep. And kids may not want to talk about things. It's always like, oh, Mom, I'm fine. But I know you really stress the importance of that communication.
Yeah, I do. And before I even give you the tools that you need, I want to be sure that you understand that you're listening right now to a woman who struggled with anxiety personally for 25 years. And 2 of our 3 kids also struggled with anxiety. And what I'm about to share with you not only has worked for our family, but it has worked for thousands and thousands of families around the United States.
So talk about the best ways to help kids thrive, because it doesn't always come easy.
Yeah, so the first thing is if you notice as the parent or the grandparent that there is a rise in stress and anxiety in your child, you've got to listen to it. You know your child best, so when you see them stressing out, when you see them going quiet, that is the sign that they need your help to step in. The first thing that you're going to do is you're going to do exactly what you said, which is plan. And the way that you do that is sit down and talk to your son or daughter or your granddaughter or grandson about what's stressing them out. And oftentimes, if you go through the day chronologically and you ask them specific questions like, what do you worry about first thing when you get up? When you walk into school, is there something that you're worried about? Is there someone in particular that you're worried about seeing at school? Is there a particular teacher or subject that makes you feel like you get that stomach ache? When you ask specific questions, kids are more inclined to respond with an answer. Once you have the things that are triggering the stress and triggering the anxiety, now you can come up with a plan, because the main thing that happens for kids is that they stay in their heads. And if they allow themselves to stay in their heads and worry about seeing that particular person at school, or worry about getting called on and stumbling over that assignment, or worried, and this is a big one for elementary school students. Do you know what the #1 thing is that kids are stressed and anxious about in elementary school?
No, I would think maybe peer pressure, but...
Throwing up.
Oh, because of their stomach aches and their anxieties. That's so sad to hear.
Yes. Yes, and because it's a scary thing when it happens. And then, of course, what happens is your kids then start to get so worried about it, they give themselves a stomach ache. And then next thing you know, you've got this cycle. And so what you're going to do is you're going to help your kids come up with a plan. And we call it A-B planning, and it makes them more successful, because once they get stressed out and anxious in the situation, their brain is already scrambling and they're not going to know what to do. So you're going to give them a plan. So one thing that you're going to do is you're going to say, okay, if it's a kid that you're worried about, when you see that kid, let's come up with something that you can say to them. If they're worried about their stomach ache or what they're going to eat or throwing up, which is so normal for elementary school students, you're going to come up with a plan. Okay, if your stomach starts to get upset, you're going to... I teach something called the 5-second rule. You're going to count backwards to yourself quietly, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. That interrupts the nervous thoughts that your kids have. And then we're going to insert the plan. And it could be there's a particular adult they're going to talk to. It could be, oh, those are just butterflies. That's not my stomach getting upset. It could be, well, if I get sick, then I'll go to the nurse. They just need to know where to direct their thoughts, Dina, once their thoughts spinning. And here's the thing. If you go through the day and you come up with all the stuff that worries them, you teach them to interrupt the worry with the 5-second rule by counting 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and you give your son or daughter an action thing, something to think about, something positive to focus on, an adult that they can talk to, you will see a significant decrease in their stress and anxiety because you're giving them tools to control something that feels so overwhelming.
Boy, that 5-second rule would help the parents as well. I know something else that helps sort of offset that anxiety is the organization, and that involves doing something at night. I know with my daughter, and she's in high school, we've got a checklist. Don't forget this or this, and it just helps her to feel like I've accomplished something before I even get to school.
Well, it not only helps her, holy cow, it helps me. With 3 school-age kids, I mean, we've got 2 in college now, but those mornings could be a disaster when you're looking for 3 backpacks and lunches and did you get the slip? And so organizing backpacks the night before, and by gosh, if you can pack the lunches the night before, here's a couple things. For you at home, it's going to decrease your stress, and it's also going to not only give your kids a sense of organization, but it's going to give you some self-control in the morning so that the mornings aren't so frenzied. I mean, let's face it, if you've got teenagers, they come down and they're like grunting at you anyway. And so at least if you got everything handled the night before, you got a chance to be able to talk to them for a little bit.
Mel Robbins, I could talk to you for so much longer, and you will have that ability on your new show. Thank you so much for being here. The Mel Robbins Show premieres September 16th.
Thank you so much for having me.
September 16th at 1 p.m., you'll be able to see the Mel Robbins Show right here on WGN after the midday news. If you want more information, check out Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, or melrobbinshow.com.